And I'm so excited that we have phase 2 coming. And this is an amazing woman. And when I heard her speak for the first time, I was so impressed. And I was impressed with the fact that she's a woman of the word first. And she's an amazing businesswoman. Absolutely amazing. Got a swag on her like nobody else. This girl is tough. And I just said, man, she's walking in her calling. And she shares about her decision to be the same person in the word as she is in her business. And I want her to go in depth about this journey she's been on. And so I want you to put your hands together for Miss Darnyelle Jervey Harmon. And I got to write this down. Yes, awesome woman of God. Yes, ma'am.
Everybody up. Everybody up, everybody up, everybody up. So what I want you to do is I want you to find somebody and I want you to look at them in their eyeballs.
Okay.
I want you to take them by the hands. Just bear with me, men. I know you might not be used to this kind of activity, but just bear with me. And I want you to just smile at them. I want you to repeat after me. I honor the incredible in you. I want you to go find somebody else real quick. Look at them in their eyeballs. And repeat after me. I honor the incredible in you. Find one more person real fast. And look, don't assume that I'm going to tell you to say the same thing. Because see, y'all get this wrong every time. I always change the last one. All right? I need you. You need me. We're all a part of God's family. Stand with me. Agree with me. We're all a part of God's family. It is His will that every need be supplied. You are important to me, and I need you to survive. Give them a big hug and take your seats, because you're already dipping into my time. So good evening. And I have a confession to make right off the start. I'm not feeling very good tonight. I'm not feeling good, but it's not about me. I came from Newcastle, Delaware. Me and the former vice president, that's all that's really going on in Delaware. And I'm not there, and who knows where he is, so I don't know what's happening. But it's not about me. I came here to serve and support Darnyelle, and thank you so much for seeing something in me and allowing me an opportunity to share with those of you who are here. And I'm telling you that up front because it's important to know that sometimes you have to press. I want you to write this down. Sometimes you have to press, and press is an acronym that stands for persistently run expecting supernatural success. Sometimes you have to press. So how many of you right now have your own business? Whether you're operating it full-time or part-time, I'm not concerned about that at this moment, but you have a business. And how many of you want to have a business? Okay. So there's probably 3 things that I want you to know about me as we get started. Number 1, I love God. And I don't apologize for that. Now I know I happen to be in a room full of people who also love God, so that makes it nice. But the thing I want you to know about me is I take God with me everywhere I go. So when I spoke at DuPont, I talked about God. Because see, what I've come to realize is that we need Him to survive. And if you really want to do the most amazing work that has been given to you to do, then you cannot separate yourself. I believe that businesses that have a spiritual foundation go farther faster. And as I share with you tonight, I will give you case in point on how I've been able to help people to establish that spiritual foundation and to leverage that to do what it is that they do in such a way that it allows them to build wealth. Because I know that that's the theme, right? The theme is about wealth and our wealth plan and how are we going to get the most money that we could possibly have in the least amount of effort. Can I get somebody to get excited about that? And that's what I love to help people do. I love to help people figure out how to connect their gifts to a core problem that they can solve for other people and to show them how to solve that problem consistently so that they get paid very, very well for what it is that they do. But the first thing, again, I want you to know about me is that I love God with everything that I am, and I don't apologize for that. Number two, I am serious about business. I cannot express to you enough how understanding my divine assignment and my mandate being around business is something that I hold on to pretty tight. So that means I'm pretty intense. And so that means that it's quite possible that I could scare you a little bit. And that brings me to the number three thing I want you to know about me, which is that I am as loyal as they come. I am that proverbial, literal, ride or die chick. And I see and believe the best in people. I do happen to be prophetic. I do happen to be able to see you better than you see yourself and to see you the way that God intended for you to be seen by the world. And I know how to help people to experience what that looks like in every facet of their lives and their businesses. And so having shared those three things with me, what I want to share with you tonight, because I believe that success leaves clues, write that down. I want to share with you 7 keys to truly experience a breakthrough in your wealth plan by leveraging your business. Is that all right? Is that all right? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to make sure, because I can go sit back down. Y'all know I'm not feeling well. All right, so the first thing I want you to write down on your paper is that God is not holding anything back from me. God is not holding anything back from me. Now, I learned the meaning of my name when I was in the 6th grade. I had a teacher, her name was Miss Dixon. She started out as my 5th grade teacher, but she loved me so much that she changed grades and taught 6th grade. That's how bad I am. If I had a collar, I'd be popping it right now. But Miss Dixon told me about the value of words. The words that we speak over ourselves and understanding how to be able to use those words to get access to what they want. And one of the assignments that she gave us in the 6th grade was to figure out what our name meant. And okay, I don't really know how my parents came up with my name. So both my parents were addicts back in the mid-70s, and my name is literally Darnyelle. So I thought, my dad said darn, and my mom started to yell, and next thing you know, that was my name. I always get at least one chuckle when I say that, right? But I can't, and I remember asking my parents, because that was part of the assignment that Miss Dixon gave us, Mom, who was in jail at the time, how did you pick my name? And I remember my mom feeding me what I thought was a line when she said, God showed me that you were going to exist in this world like nobody else would exist in this world. And so I needed to give you a name that would give you the ability to stand out. I'm in the 6th grade. I'm like, whatever. That's a load of hooey if I ever heard one, right? And then I remember going to my dad, Dad, how did you guys come up with my name? And my dad said, there was this Italian actress, Darnyelle Machiavelli. And we used to watch her movies. And we loved the name so much that we said our first daughter, we were going to name her Darnyelle. Okay, we lived in the projects. I mean, did they even really have Italian actresses on TV that were visible to be seen in the 70s? Like, I mean, come on. So I'm like, okay, they tripping, they were smoking something, who knows what happened, but I'm not buying it, right? And so anyway, Miss Dixon gave us this assignment, and I was very, very, very discouraged. I was like, okay, first of all, I'm the name that when you go to the store and you're looking at the little license plates, they'll never have one with Darnyelle on it, right? Like, so there is no meaning for my name. And so I'm discouraged. because everybody else, little Becky and Sarah and, John, they've got a little license plate with their name on it. And so I started going through this process and we couldn't find anything. I didn't believe my parents. And so I remember Miss Dixon, she was like, have you ever had that person who saw you greater than you see yourself? That knows that there's something incredible on the deep inside of you, and that if you would just keep following it, it would manifest into this great thing. Well, that was Miss Dixon for me. And so she helped me do my assignment. And so we found the meaning in English derivative. And it wasn't like the full name, this way that I spell my name, because I think my parents were a little creative. But the name itself meant hidden nook. Wow. Hidden nook. And then we found a Swahili translation that said, the secret place where dreamers go to dream. Okay? Now the first thing I told you was that God is not holding anything back from you. So in my household, I already expressed to you slightly, if you caught it, that my mom went to jail when I was very young. So it was during my 8th birthday. I was having a little tea party with little girlfriends in the neighborhood. And out of nowhere, we hear this loud boom. If I were feeling better, I would like replay it for you, right? This loud boom. Everybody down. And I just remember my world stopping. And I remember in that moment thinking that I had done something to God. That I had created a situation that I wasn't even really clear about that forced him to take the most important person in my life away from me. And when we're children, everything is misconstrued, right? Because we come into this world as vessels of light, right? We're light and we're airy, and then we meet our parents. And then we're introduced to fear, and we're introduced to struggle and lack, and we become dark. And I just remember this dark cloud surrounding my life and constantly believing that God decided to hold something back from me. And it was many years that went by before I realized that was not in fact the truth. It was a lie that I came to believe. If you take the word believe, B-E-L-I-E-V-E, right in the middle of it, there's a lie. And so most of us, we are believing lies, and we're making those lies truths, and we're living our lives based on the truths that we've created out of the lies that we've been told. And I was no different, right? And so as I start to grow, as I start to get older, I'm still believing that God is holding something back from me until I get to high school. And so then in high school, I had Mr. Cook. And Mr. Cook was much like Miss Dixon. He saw the best in me. He saw greatness in me. And he knew that there was a possibility for me to be able to do some truly, truly amazing things. But I didn't believe it in myself. And so how many of you who have a business, your business is not where you want it to be? Who'll be honest with me, okay? And the struggle that you're having in your business, how many of you will be honest and say it's because of the way that you see yourself? Who'll be honest? Yeah, because here's what I've come to realize is that until you start to see yourself the way that God created you to be seen, everything in your life will suffer. Write this down. It is impossible for me to have a booming business if I have a busted life. Let me repeat that. It is impossible for me to have a booming business if I have a busted life. Now here's what I've come to realize just recently. In fact, last week I held a brand new live event that I never thought I would do these types of events. I never thought I would do a personal transformation type of event. But last week I held a personal transformation event. Ella was there, so if you want to know all about it, you just go see Ella. She'll tell you how it was because y'all missed it. But y'all didn't, some of y'all didn't know me. Some of y'all didn't know me. Y'all didn't come. Shame on you. But the ones who didn't, you get a pass. We're doing it again next year. But anyway, So what I've come to realize is that life and business are congruent. And this is the reason why the spirituality that you hold can't be made separate from your business, right? And I'm not talking about religion, so we're clear. This is not religion. This is not, how are you, girl? Blessed and highly favored. Like, no, this is not the cliche that happens in the church. This is about relationship with God and understanding who God is, right? And so I said, no, God is not holding anything back from you. The second thing I want to say to you is that everything you want is already here. So how many of you have a dream car? There's a car that you want. It's on your vision board. When you see it, like, you start getting sweaty and you feeling it because you want this car, right? So the fact that that car exists is evidence that it's available to you too, right? And if God isn't holding anything back from you, the reason you don't have it is you, right? So I've come to realize this, and I have been shifting my own way of looking at business. Now, I'm a business strategist through and through. We grow businesses, period. It's what we do. It's what happens. When people come into my space, they make more money. It's the truth. But what I've come to realize is that your ability to create wealth will always be stifled by the way that you see yourself. And until you get out of the way, until you learn how to forgive, you will not have access to the things that you want. It's already here. Somebody else has it. Be it a private island, like Ruben spoke about, be it your dream car, be it the $1 million business, if that is what it is that you want. It's all here right now. But if you don't have it, it's because there's some steps that you need to take to do it, right? So the first thing you have to do, if you really want to build wealth, the first thing you have to do is you have to write down what you really want. Now, I'm not talking about what you think you want. So last week at Breakthrough, that's the name of the event, I asked every attendee to write down what they really want. It was hard for most of them. Because most of us, the things that we want are the things that other people told us that we should want. Or the things that we think we should want because if we had them, it would make things better for other people. Right? And so, until you get clear, I'm talking about that thing that you want that you would never utter out loud because as soon as you say it out loud, you'll be judged. That thing. Right? I'm talking about that thing that you won't tell anybody about it because as soon as you tell them, you'll be forced to step into it. That thing. But you have got to stand firm and flat-footed about what it is that you want. Because here's the thing, you can have whatever you want. But you have to be willing to do the work to get it. How many of us have said we want things, but then we don't take the steps? Like, I used to say I wanted $1 million business, but I didn't want to pick up the phone to call people to get them to buy my products. There was a disconnect, right? There was a surefire gap between what I said I wanted and what I actually had in my reality because I was standing in the gap. And I was preventing myself from being able to get what it is that I want. But the first step is to write down what you really, really want. And so my advice to you would be to put on, who has a theme song? If you don't have one, get one. Put on music, because music is one of the fastest ways to shift your alignment and it gets you back positive, right? So put on some music that makes you feel invincible, unstoppable, unmovable. Put on some music like that. And then just sit with yourself. What do I really want? What do I really want? So personally, I've always been very successful professionally, but where I struggled was relationally. I don't want to say I couldn't get a man to save my life because I could get him. I just couldn't keep him. I mean, seriously. I mean, like, before I just got married in November, but before getting married in November, thank you very much. I had been engaged 3 times previously. I'm a businesswoman. I know how to sell. I could sell myself to a diamond ring. And they kept getting bigger. I was good at what I did, but I could not keep them. I couldn't. It was my truth. It was my story. And so when I went to do this exercise for myself about, actually 3 years from Sunday, 2 days, is my 3-year anniversary with my boo. And so about a little bit more than 3 years ago, I sat down and I had to figure out what I really, really wanted. And so once you figure out what you really want, I want you to write a thank you letter to God. I want you to praise him in advance. I want you to thank him in advance for whatever it is. So in your business, in your personal life, in your relationship, with your health and wellness, whatever area of your life, because you probably should really look at all areas of your life, right? I want you to figure out what it is and unsolicited. Don't talk to nobody else about it. Talk to yourself about it. And then thank God in advance. Seal the want by thanking God, right? Because he says in Matthew 7:7, if we ask, it is what? It is given, right? Is that conditional? Or there's some circumstances, does he say on the first, when the first day of June falls on a Friday and the person standing on the stage is wearing black and white polka dots, I'll give you what you want? Or does it say, if you ask me, I will give it to you every single time, right? So the way that we are going to seal our ask is by thanking him for it in advance, right? And then we've got to realize that God works through faith. See, this is another reason why you don't have what you want, because you're not operating in faith. Write this down. The how is not my job. Let me repeat that. The how is not my job. How many of you have set a goal and you immediately try to figure out how to hit the goal? And you missed it. Ruben said it like, I like, and this happens all the time, Ruben. You notice, like, whenever we're speaking at the same places, you go, and then I get to go after you, and I love it because he is an amazing orator. He can tell a mean story, and he says some really, really good stuff. And he said it, and I'm not going to say it exactly the same way that he said it, but if you can do it in and of yourself, it's not big enough, right? If there's no space for God to get in it, there's no way for God to do it. Right? So just remember that. Like, the reason you don't have it is because you're trying to figure it out on your own. So, quick story. So, I've been in business for 10 years, June 27th. 10 years in business. You couldn't clap for me because there are a lot of people who don't make it past the first year. I'm just saying. And I started my business in 2008 coming off of a very successful Mary Kay Cosmetics business. I had a pink Cadillac. I was #1 in the state of Delaware. If you know anything about Mary Kay, I had 500 beauty consultants in my unit, and our offspring 5 sales directors all in 12 months. Yeah, so it was pretty awesome and exciting. And then, God tapped me on the shoulder and was like, this has been great, but this isn't what I called you to. And so I decided to start my own company, Incredible One Enterprises, but I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So you know that when it comes to anything in life, there are the things you know. There are the things you know you don't know. And then there are the things you don't have no idea that you don't know, right? And so I started my business knowing what I knew, but not knowing what I didn't know. And that caused me to file bankruptcy. I, started the business. I did all of this pre-work and created all of this stuff. And then I went out to the marketplace and was like, what do you mean you don't want it? For like 9 months, I was getting ready to start my business. And then instead of doing what I should have done, which would have been to do some market research, which is now what I teach clients, I just kind of did it. Like, they're gonna want this because I'm creating it and I'm a genius. And yeah, no. And so it sent me into bankruptcy, and it also made me have to get a job. So for 2 years, I held a job while I was trying to figure out how to start and fix my business part-time. But in 2011, so about 7 years ago, I started working my business full-time. 3 years into working my business full-time, I had $1 million company. And so I said, so we were talking about goals. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, because there's not a lot of people who run $1 million companies. And so we'll just leave it there for a second. And so what changed, the biggest thing that changed for me was recognizing that I I didn't have to do it myself. I had to get really clear about what it is that I do. I had to find the problem that I can solve for other people that they'd be willing to put a dime on. And I had to communicate to people that I could help them to solve that problem through stories, through demonstrative actions, and telling them about the clients that I've worked with, and helping them to understand, speaking the lingo around business is what helped them to realize that they could, see me as the solution to the problem. And then the other thing I had to do is I had to understand what solving that problem was worth in the marketplace. Now, what I want you to catch in what I just said is I didn't say I had to understand my worth. Write this down. If it were about worth, no one would be able to afford me. Let me repeat that. If it were about worth, no one would be able to afford me. And why is that? Right, because God created you, right? And when he created you, he was showing the world what incredible looked like. There's no one who does what you do like you do in the way that you were given to do it in order to usher change into the lives of other people. The problem is you don't believe it. Oh, wow. Right? So it's not about your worth. It's about understanding the problem that you solve and what the price point should be for that. And then putting profit on it. Right? So it's not enough to say that this is the problem I solve. And while I'm priceless, my work is not priceless. And my worth is profitable. So I'm going to charge more than it costs in order to make sure that the goals, the financial, the wealth goals that I set for myself, my community, and my family can easily be achieved without having to rob Peter to pay Paul. I've been really blessed in my business over the last 7 years. Not only have we generated more than $1 million a year, but we had a little something that a lot of people want. Like, people covet this. We had cash flow. And we had multiple six-figure cash flow. Like 2017, I'll be honest, I didn't work very much. I was busy planning a wedding and getting married and building my dream house. I had other things to do last year. But I was still able to live. We just built a 7,500 square foot home. That is ridiculous. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, I can't believe I live here. This is where I live. This is my house. And I live here, right? That's Eddie Murphy. But it's because of understanding the principles of wealth and leveraging my business to create that wealth for me.